Hello, and welcome into the LCS Challengers League. This is the Path to LCS channel, and I am Magical, joined in by Desrex and Beatdown for another exciting day of League of Legends. We are on day 2 of week 6, which means this is the penultimate day, you two. We only have one more day after today, so going down the line, Eric, how do you feel?
I feel ready, man. Some of these matches we've been seeing and the development that we've had from some of our squads, it's starting to all come together now, even for squads who are in the bottom of the standings like Supernova. So I want to see how this all concludes, man. I can't wait anymore. I need to see the thrilling conclusion. Why don't they drop the whole series at the same time? I just want to binge it.
Yeah, but we still have more to go. We have to get through. That's how games kind of go in competitive. So, Beat, how are you feeling?
I mean, just want to add one more to your point, Magical. It builds the excitement, Eric. This is also partially an entertainment product, man. You got to get with the program here. And of course, I agree. It's super exciting. And the most exciting part to me is the fact that playoffs haven't actually been locked in. We still have 3 teams fighting for that last spot. And that probably won't actually be decided until end of day tomorrow.
I know. There's also, we have the Foldy sheet going on right now, so there's a whole bunch of, what is it, 59,000 possibilities going in to these penultimate day. That's a lot, but we got other things that we want to talk about, including our play of the week from week 5. It was from Perry's base defense, so let's watch.
Yeah!
Okay, 15 seconds on Manui. They don't have Baron buff to shove in. They could probably get a Nexus turret before everyone spawns. Perry's jumping onto the wave, trying to stop it from getting in here. Team Liquid say, we're ignoring him. Tristana damage to turrets, to structures is too strong, but the minions have spawned. So over the Fear. They got Mir. They got Kim down. Perry's saving the game as Arrow can't get through the gate. Fear, hold the line.
Dude, me too.
All right, well, we were just talking about it. We were all 3 of us were kind of trying to manipulate the vote on that one, say that we all really wanted that one.
Whoa, no, not manipulate. Slow it down. We were expressing our opinion and campaigning, advocating, expressing that was the play of the week.
These are terms I know very well. Don't worry, I know these terms very well. I've studied politics.
The poli-sci guy, yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to appeal to you, you know?
Well, speaking of appealing to me, we had an awesome little video that we want to show you guys. It was Mazel actually setting up a bunch of players playing what he calls bot. So let's go watch and see how the players did.
Welcome one and all to NACL Bot, our game and our version of Horse, but on League of Legends and on Summoner's Rift. I've got our 3 contestants, Perry, Tomio, and Will. We're about to see who can come out on top and who are bots. We are going to have you put yourself into a practice tool, set up a basket of 3 wards around one of the pixel brushes. You're going to use a movement displacing ability from any champion you want to get a target dummy into the center of those 3 wards.
Oh, I guess one more. Okay. I'm gonna go right here.
Oh, that's a basket. That's our first.
I think that's the first basket.
Yeah, I mean, easy as this. Oh.
That wasn't the same. That's a miss. You got a copy, bro.
Oh, I didn't know.
You got a copy. You got a B.
Okay, man. This is gonna be it. Let's just do it.
Oh.
That's
cutting. I'm not gonna lie.
That's cutting.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yo, we got 2 Bs in here already.
That a B? That's. All right. All we gotta do, Skarner ult the dummy in. It's gonna be simple. Very simple. If I mess it up, I might be boosted. All right. We'll see. First time for everything. Oh,
look at that!
Okay.
A beautiful basket.
I could do that with my eyes closed, honestly.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yep, right there.
Alright, I'm ready. Like, come on.
Wait! Wait! Bro!
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I'll do that soon.
Alright, I'm gonna. Here we go.
Oh!
Hey!
I think that's it.
That's it?
I think since we said Tomio's was, we're not gonna count. I think we can't count this one either.
All right, we got 2 of those. Barry's pissed.
All right, it's about that right. It's
Okay.
yeah, bro. We all play this in.
So you're gonna press the ghost here, you know? Gotta drive to the net, and you know what I'm saying? Call me LeBron James V2, but and then we're gonna go like this. Oh, and hit it. And, I didn't practice it, but-
Okay,
that looked cool though. That was a sick one though. You just go. Oh!
Hey, that's like a beautiful basket.
That's it.
My God.
That's it. Flash. Whoa! Hey, that's a B. That's a B.
That's close. That's a B, bro.
All right. All you gotta do is just, you know.
Gotta send it.
Oh!
Oh.
He's throwing, man. Oh my God.
He's not trying. He does not care.
Okay.
Bro, I think you're a bot.
Alright, bro. Right about. You got this. What about here? The showstopper, haymaker. Faker. Oh, what was that? Oh, you sky choke. Oh.
Oh, that's a basket right there.
Alright. This is for Taylor Swift. That's my shotty. I don't know. Okay.
You're overthinking it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, hope you miss it right now. Because you're taking all this time measuring. I hope it misses.
Bro, I'm not gonna take all this time measuring and just lose and just be a bot like you. Your thing is, you're talking, but you're dead, bro.
Nah, I'm not bot. It was rigged. Like a carnival game at the fair.
Nice.
You're not supposed to win. Oh.
Oh, I'd say that's out.
Alright. Let me show you. I mean, that's it. No, that's it. Honestly,
Okay.
Airball, but we'll let it.
But you think it's airball, Tomio?
Alright, now you doing too much, Tomio.
You do.
I mean,
Now you doing too much.
I need you, ASAP. You're looking? You're here?
I'm here.
I'm looking. That's in.
Done.
He got
That's
it.
That's easy.
You're gonna ult QW.
Alright. It's a simple.
oh!
Oh.
Come on, no pressure. Ah! Oh!
W twice. I W twice. Look, I W twice. There's no way that's possible. Look.
All right. We got Tomio and Perry, who came out as bots. Will is the champion of game number 1.
Wow.
Congratulations to Will. Will, do you have anything to say?
I'm the king. I'm the king.
Exactly.
And Will, being the winner, is clearly not a bot, as we found out that Perry and Tomio both are. Unfortunate. Yeah.
Sad. I love the chest bat from Will though. Like he just knows he's like.
And Tomio with game shows, like you might be great in the jungle, man, but these game shows need some work. We got to get some coaching there.
Yeah, he's a bit of an intern in the game.
Are you trying to tell me some of the champions they played in that bot game are champions he might not actually be playing in the jungle?
Hey, you're a pro player, man.
Kasante Jungle.
Pro player, that's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are pro here, we have our standings as we can see how everything is unfolding at the moment. And we are still on that race for the bottom 3 and for second place between FlyQuest Challengers, Wildcard, and Disguised for second. And then for the bottom 3, Maryville, Supernova, Team Fish Taco. All right, so obviously our attention has to be on to this bottom part of the standings, right, Beat?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this red line is what we've been talking about all weekend so far, and today is actually going to determine whether or not 8 and 9, maybe even 10, are going to change in the standings. Taco, I mean, it's going to take a miracle. It's going to be hard for them. They have the most difficult schedule. I'm pretty sure they play FlyQuest Challengers today. But Maryville and Supernova are both playing today on our channel. Supernova had a big win yesterday over DSG, which we did not expect. And Maryville, unfortunately, went 0-2 after a catastrophic week 5. They are in serious danger of no longer having...
They hear it in their ear right now. I'm coming for you, Maryville. I'm coming for you. Supernova.
I was going to say, you're chomping at the bit there. I knew you wanted to say something about this bottom 3.
Grapes posted a tweet a little bit earlier about how important the Taco versus Maryville University game is going to be tomorrow. This is getting more and more important the more these standings kind of stay this close-knit, man.
I mean, within one game between those bottom 3. And also, keep this in mind that Maryville, based off how tiebreakers do go at the moment, if they were to tie with Supernova and Team Fish Taco currently, they would actually just straight up win the tiebreaker because they have more best of 2 wins. That's how it actually unfolds. So, for Supernova and Taco, they can't just simply tie Maryville in the standings. They have to actually get above them if they want to make sure that they can avoid that tiebreaker scenario where no games are played at all. But we have to focus on what we have today, right? Our games at hand. Cincinnati Fear versus Maryville to start it off, then Supernova versus AoE Gold. You both are talking about this, how these are so important for both Maryville and Supernova. Literally, one win for either of these teams could be everything.
Man, I really do think every single match has tremendous implications that we're going to have on broadcast today. I mean, Fear, they're already locked in for playoffs, but of course you want better seeding. Maryville, this is probably the best opportunity that they have to get in some final wins to get themselves a little bit more up there in the standings. AoE, they're on a hot streak. That unfortunately just got derailed by Cincinnati Fear not too long ago.
Just yesterday.
Yeah, and of course Supernova, that split Beatdown was talking about. This makes it really, really tense, man.
It really does, and that's why I'm so excited to see how this is going to go between these teams today, because how much importance each of these games has on our standings at the moment. And when we look further, when we look forward towards how these games kind of are going to play out, Beat.
I mean, it's super important, too, looking at both of these series today. Maryville have a lot of pressure, like I was telling you earlier, because they need a win desperately. Because right now they're on, 0-8 in their last handful of matches. Yeah.
You have to also keep in mind they're 0-8, and I think they're 2-12 in the second half of the round robin. Yeah.
Oh, it's worse, Pete. It's worse. It's 0-10.
How worse?
It's 0-10.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
It's been since week 4 since they got their last wins. It's been quite a stumble here for Maryville, unfortunately. And that's kind of why we're talking about this team that started off the first part of the round robins at a dead 50-50 split. 9-9. They looked good. We're like, this Maryville squad, this collegiate team, upsetting everyone's expectations, but it does feel like as we've gotten further into the season, it has been that they maybe have just been figured out by a lot of teams, Pete.
They are, and I mean, it's been tough. They're going up against Cincinnati Fear as well, a team that I think has been, a little up and down. The first round robin was a little, I guess to say, disappointing, considering how good they looked at the end of spring split. But now in the second round robin, they have been turning it up. They had that crazy 40-plus minute banger against Team Liquid Challengers. That was Perry's play of the week. And we are starting to see this team kind of develop with these new pieces, almost back to what we saw in spring that got them the top 4 playoff finish.
And Chochi's already been saying it on Twitter. 6-0 is not going to be a myth. This is the week for them to finally get it and put this to an end. Put your money where your mouth is, man. You've already started with the 2-0. Can it continue?
And that's going to be the big thing. You got to live up to that, right? You got to prove to everyone that you can get that 6-0, especially to round out the season in the final week of play. But, we look at Cincinnati Fear. We look at how this team has been playing, and just look at them yesterday. They looked a lot more cohesive than we had seen a lot from them, especially in the recent weeks, because when we talk about Fear, we have to talk about maybe too many cooks in the kitchen, would you say, Eric?
Not too many cooks. Let's reframe that. Too many recipes.
There we go.
I did this to more highlight on Chochi, but this does expand to the rest of the team as well. By the way, Katarina's grayed out because that was a mispick, and I'm just going to give respect to that fairly.
Well, he had to play
it nonetheless. For Chochi, 19 unique champions, that's fine and all, but every so often it seems like Fear have this whole identity crisis where they can't exactly get things to line up the way they want to. For example, the Action game. Action, clever pick. What happens? Poppy just continuously wrecks you with the steadfast presence, and we don't get a big moment from Chochi like we want. But we get other games where, for example, when he pulled out his first Tristana, where he goes on a complete banger. Now, what I want from this squad is to take the recipes that work and bundle them up for playoffs, no longer experimenting, because right now it's starting to hurt them. It was hurting them in week 4 and 5, and they're starting to look a little bit better. So let's just dial down on those recipes, man.
Yeah, part of that concern is also just that some teams at this point in time have already had an identifiable style. We think about teams like AoE, FlyQuest, Team Liquid Challengers, very consistent in the way they draft and the way they play. So The hope is that Fear will dial into what really works for them come playoffs time, because, I mean, they're in playoffs, guys. They really don't have anything to worry about in that regard. So there is that opportunity for them to experiment a little bit and see what is working and what they can scrap.
And looking at how they kind of experimented in the past for Cincinnati Fear, it feels like the champs experiment. It's not their playstyle that really experiments. It's always kind of a similar identity. What we saw from spring here over to summer. You're wincing. No one else can see that. But my argument is that they're a team fight comp that likes to group together and play as a whole entire unit.
For better or for worse, sometimes
fight a lot.
one of the biggest problems that's been said so many times in this broadcast about Cincinnati Fear is they see fights and they don't think they're bad fights regardless of what's happening. They'll walk up on a lot of these neutral objectives and feel the need to fight over them when they should just surrender it away and go for a different phase of the map.
I do agree, and that's something I've definitely been critical about this team for. And it's interesting because there are a lot of times where they should switch, kind of switch to something else. Go for a trade across the map, something along those lines. But there are a lot of games where they had incredible comebacks because of how confident they are at team fighting. Yesterday against AoE was a perfect example.
Yeah, but here on your screens, who they're playing against, the team that needs any win, any one singular win could be enough for them to get into playoffs. And looking at our Maryville University squad, the collegiate boys there, this team, they surprised a lot of people coming into the summer split. They surprised a lot of people in the summer promotion as well, making sure that they could get into the LCS Challengers League in the first place. But they have been on quite a downward spiral as of late. And Pete, I gotta ask, what can they do to fix it?
It's tough because Maryville, they have this defined style that they always go for, in that they like to fight. Early game is usually what they draft for, and some of these clips that we have here are examples of when they make these things work. When Odd Orange and Get Back, this mid-jungle duo, are able to have early game power, Maryville get a lot of these leads. The problem that they have is that, even looking at the stats, they have the worst conversion rate after being ahead at 15 minutes into a win. Last time I checked, it was 61%. I can't imagine it's changed very much, considering since I've checked, they've lost the majority of their games. And that inability to turn these leads into wins is what's been so difficult.
A lot of this comes from the fact that they give up a lot on the map to commit to certain plays. Niles is one of the biggest culprits of this, I would say, where he abandons his lane to commit to Maryville University, but gives up so much in farm and ends up having a hard time in the grand scheme of everything, including the lane and the team fight itself. They commit very well. I do appreciate the fact that they work as a unit, but it's a little bit one-dimensional right now, and we got to see what more they can bring if they want to be in playoffs.
And this could be the time for them to do so, right? Your backs are up against the wall. You got to do anything possible to pick up these wins. Throw the Hail Mary out there. Play the wild comps that nobody's ready for. The Pantheon, we've seen it before, but you know something that I always like to see? Kled. We haven't seen any Kled coming in from Maryville. And I'm talking about wild picks right here. I'm talking about things that nobody's expecting, and that's something that could always catch teams off guard, especially because with how Maryville like to play, they always like to group together. But I do believe we are getting ready for our first game, you two, here between Cincinnati Fear and Maryville. So are you both ready? Do you need anything? Do you need any water before we get there?
I'm gonna take a sippy.
Okay, take a sip. Beat, take a sip of water. Beat, I need you to take a sip of water too. You gotta hydrate. Hydrate?
Hydrate or dihydrate, my friend.
Okay, is he hydrating?
Oh, he dehydrated.
You dehydrated. Okay, that's unfortunate. Nobody can see because his camera went off. But but it doesn't matter. It's okay. We're trying to get him back in here. And okay, hopefully he hydrated. Hopefully you two are ready for this game so we can get underway, because I know I'm excited about these two teams going up, especially because how much importance there is here for Maryville. So, you two, get us in it to draft for game number 1.
All right, game number 1, the draft now going to be ready. I do want to bring up something. We talked about the loss streak that unfortunately Maryville University has been suffering. Let's talk a bit about what happened before that loss streak, because it was the split game with Supernova, which is kind of the bad, but then you get the really good, which was the split game with Team Liquid.
Yeah, and also the 2-0 for FlyQuest Challengers, which was on the very cursed weekend.
Yeah.
But that was another exciting win that Maryville got for themselves. I mean, realistically, that should have been a split. FlyQuest really fumbled the bag in that game 1, but the game 2, legitimate win. And to Maryville's credit, once they started turning around in that game 1, they were team fighting really, really well. And a lot of it was Niles on this Pantheon pick. It's something at this point in time, teams have understood not to let go Maryville's way, and that's been part of Maryville's problem. As time goes on, their style has been read and understood, so it's harder for them to, unless they come up with something new, get the drop on teams above them in the standings especially.
And you always got to think about why picks like Pantheon are so good in the context of Maryville. It's because what we were saying during the pregame is they like to fight as a team, and they like to get Niles there to help out the rest of the squad as fast as possible. Grand Skyfall really does help out with that situation. It's a great ultimate to make sure that he has map pressure and presence, and it works so well to Maryville's playstyle. But as we do take a look at some of the bans that are coming through, there is no Pantheon ban. Oh, there it is.
I told you.
There
it happens
is.
Every time, first rotation. Because Maryville are not afraid to take that one on the first rotation. It's such a strong and confident pick for Niles. You just don't want to let that one go. What also stands out to me is the Xayah ban. It's gotten through a lot of the time because it's been such a high priority pick, but Fear take that one away, and I like it because it's one of Scary Jerry's strongest picks at the moment. It's when we've seen him perform the best alongside things like the Varus and maybe the Kaisa.
Yeah.
And that's something that is, though, still available to them. Fear are okay with that because they're going to prioritize Tristana.
So I was expecting this Trist to be first pick after seeing it was still available. 1, it's really good, but 2, this was a champion that Shoji just loves to play, man. He loves to pop off on this.
Yeah.
Very, very comfortable having that in his hands. For Maryville University, they're showing their bot lane right away.
Maybe.
Technically, you can flex that Kaisa, but
There you go.
Kaisa, Rel, now going to be locked in.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a really common 1-2 coming through there from Maryville. It could go in Scary Jerry's hands. He has been playing it a lot, and especially if we see Maryville draft more for this kind of all-in style composition, Kaisa fits into that one really well. But it depends on whether or not they take away another option there from Scary Jerry and maybe picking away the Varus for themselves. I haven't seen Manui play it a lot. He's usually more comfortable on the Aphelios, but we could... Yeah, okay, there it is.
Go figure. Double marksman comp now going to show from Cincinnati Fear. And so far, so strong, especially having the Maokai alongside that. But it's a pretty good snap back for Maryville University. They do get that Nico, pairs very, very well with that Rel when you start getting into the team fight phase alongside the Kaisa. So it shows you that Maryville University, they're going to the same wheelhouse. They're going to make sure they're going to take a lot of these fights and skirmishes.
And this one's good because Nico, in a lot of these matchups, in the mid lane currently, are able to get push, get you priority. This is what we talked about with Get Back and Odd Orange. Give Odd Orange the space, have him move around with Get Back and impact that early game. That's led to some of the wins that Maryville have had, especially in the back half of that first round robin, where they managed to really turn around those last couple of weeks. So at this point, Maryville, that all-in composition I was kind of alluding to is there, and I'm imagining they just want to get rid of things like the Milio, things that can sort of disengage their all-in engage. So I'm looking for them to ban another support, maybe the Alistar, maybe the Renata, which is an answer that not a lot of people use, but I think would be really good here.
Yeah, I was going to say the Alistar as well. I would like to see that taken away. Zyko, I've always seen him really good when he can get in the face of other players. I saw it a lot back when he was in CLAW, as well as Gateway, Los Angeles Comic-Con, everything before Maryville actually got into NACL.
Yeah.
That was the case. Zyko played like a psycho on a lot of these picks.
And Zyko, honestly, despite Maryville's struggles, he's looked pretty good this split. Better than I expected, and I gotta say, he's had some really good games. He got that shout for Player of the Week a few weeks back, and I think a lot of his performances have been pretty good here. And instead, it's gonna be the Cassante. Gwen is banned on the other side. Tells me Fear are looking for a tanky option for Philip on the top side so that you can facilitate this double marksman composition. But
We're going.
Okay, that's a new one.
Going. Not that new, considering the Kaisa pairing.
First time I've seen Maryville.
Maryville, okay, yeah. I'll go alongside that.
There you go.
Does leave that Alistar open to be taken on the other side, however, to punt away this potential engage that Maryville want to get going. I mean, Nocturne is going to be diving. Same thing with Rel. Locked in.
Hear me out. Okay, we're seeing the tank come through. Fear, have this front to back cob. There's an opening here.
Spicy.
Nope, never mind. It's not gonna. Never mind. I forgot that mid was already picked up. We're just gonna see what's picked for top side. Niles, Niles plays spicy picks, but I'm not expecting that one. The Ornn is much nicer, especially given how much we talk about Maryville being able to fight. Something that has engaged, something that has a lot of CC and can be that threat to the back line. Range is good too. You have the Gnar, it's one of Niles' most played champions, and that kind of goes with what we were talking about, especially because Maryville, when you play this style where you want to skirmish a lot, you want to snowball leads, first Rift Herald is that really all-important objective, and Gnar is so good at helping you contest that.
And as you said, Niles does like to play this a lot, so very, very comfortable. Also gives a pretty good dive and team fight to the identity that Maryville have been drafting with this comp, which is to skirmish, which is to dive in, and which is to cause chaos. I do like that Cincinnati Fear has some good answers to this, though, because this front line is as beefy as it gets, beat.
That's right, so there's going to be a lot of... That's why this Nocturne is pretty good for Maryville, but when it comes to late game scaling, I always favor double marksman comps. So this is kind of comfort zone for Maryville. They do need to get this lead. They do need to snowball it into a win. They've struggled with it before, but this is the time to make it happen, Eric. Playoffs are on the line.
And as we do wait out to get onto the Rift, I'm curious how this plays out in the grand scheme, because for Maryville University, Cincinnati Fear have always been really good at just pouncing on a lot of these team fights. I do feel like it's going to be two bulls bashing head first at each other. So I expected this to be a little bit more on the bloodbath side, which to me, for Cincinnati Fear, can be a little bit shaky. They are going to be looking for some scaling into the late game, but they still like to fight in the early and mid.
They do, and I mean, looking at what Fear wants to do with this comp, we kind of already established it. You have a really tanky front line, you have engage and disengage with the Maokai, and you have this double marksman who are just going to, when we get 2-3 items, if Fear are even, they should win the fight and win the game every single time. That's why the onus is on Maryville to get the ball rolling. They have unique ways to get on top of this Aphelios too, and this Tristana. You have Nocturne, you have Niles who likes to flank on this Gnar pick, and you have Scary Jerry who can follow up with the Kai'Sa's Killer Instinct. There's going to need to be some finesse for Maryville, especially when we get to that mid to late game, if they want this ever important win. Again, they're tied right now with Supernova, and although they win the tiebreakers that we work for, if they have another rough weekend and Supernova are able to take a game away, they could just fall right out of playoff contention.
Yeah, and again, that makes that match that we're going to have tomorrow so damn important, man, between Team Fish Taco and Maryville University. If Supernova just get one more win, they take that spot. Maryville need these wins. These next two matches,
one win.
These are pretty much your last chances to be able to soak in any more advancements within placing. You don't want to fall behind, but we are now ready. We are on the Rift.
It's
Cincinnati Fear versus Maryville University. Playoffs. We're almost there, Beatdown.
That's right. For Cincinnati Fear, you are already safe. You're playing for seeding to get yourself that best first round match that you can go for. Maryville, on the other hand, they're fighting for their lives, Eric. It is do or die time, and it starts right now in this game one.
Now, if Maryville can get things going early, which is very, very likely, Get Back should have some pretty good shove. It's against Tristana, which will slowly swap as we get more and more into this. But that presence does a big amount for Odd Orange. JJ, Flash going to be burnt away. And yeah, simple invade from Maryville University, and the cow's going to pay.
Yeah, I think JJ honestly got caught lacking there. Not really sure what was going on, but at least he has a Hex Flash.
You know?
Yeah, you know, the buying things as a support income, meaning like, what, 10 minutes when you can make a real purchase? But it's okay.
Where do we get like the player feed where we can see him actually playing like Osu or something in the middle of it all?
Dude, yeah, NACL win, am I right? But he still has Hex Flash to play with. Shochi, I mean, getting aggressive right away. He's a player who, we talked about it with that graphic. It isn't just him, it's the styles that Fear go for where we're saying maybe they're trying a few too many things. But Shochi is the crux of that because of what we still consider to be a champion ocean. And for this player who continues to have a stellar year compared to last year, I think it's still a good thing for him overall being able to play that. Once Fear narrow it down come playoffs time, this could very well be a team to fear.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do feel that. I want them to refine their style. I want them to dial in a little bit more. You know, you could say having that many champions in the wheelhouse is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing in some regards because it means the team has to kind of work around certain champions, work around certain drafts. And for Shochi, it has been mixed success, right? Now you take the ones that are successful, you bring it to playoffs, and you start to pop off. By the way, you do want to pop off on your own for these squads. Be sure to subscribe to the Twitch channel, both here and LCS Challengers, and you can get 30,000 Riz, Pete.
What else is there to say? And I'm told last week, even though this is against my wishes, apparently it's coming from my Riz, so you're really messing with me if you subscribe. Huh?
You're in Riz debt now.
Yeah, I will be soon if we keep getting subscribers, man. So I don't know, like I'm torn right now. Obviously, I want you all to support the players, but it will be to my own detriment. So, you know, if that's what it takes.
No, I ran out of Riz like 10 years ago, so it's all right. Now Zyko, eyeballing.
How did you lose it?
I lost my hair. Zyko eyeballing the mid lane, trying to change the subject before we make memes about me being bald once again, but not gonna find Shochi. Shochi has the heads up right there, but already, Magical, get out of here, get out of my walls. As Shochi, Pete, take over. I got defeated right now. I'm done.
I got you, bro. No worries. Not a whole lot really going on.
Suffering.
Props to Zyko looking for these roams. I mean, we see this often with these supports this split, where you get the level 2 on the Alistar, on things like the Rel, and you try to impact other parts of the map. And it's really important there for both of these teams to be able to do that. JJ, oh my god, wait. We are just spending a lot of time in this mid lane. We don't like Shochi.
Big focus here is Shochi. Same time, Perry stealing away the Raptor camp, and Odd Orange and Get Back. No, they hop right over, flashing over the wall is going to be Get Back. Oh, he reads it beautifully and outplays Perry for first blood.
Wow, that was I honestly would have liked Shochi to move up sooner. I mean, they had the information that they were moving up. There was definitely a way they could have at least played to save Perry's life, but unfortunately, you just give up first blood instead. Something Maryville very happy about right now, because they get that extra bit of gold into Odd Orange's pocket. Someone we highlighted as having a really good split, despite some of the struggles that Maryville have gone through. So getting him a lead on this champion, that's going to be dive bombing Shochi. Dive bombing Manui, like we said in Champ Select, is a good start.
Very, very nice for Odd Orange to be there. And questionable response come out of Shochi, but does give a lead over to Maryville University, one they need, because Fear are going to be fighting early. If you do take this lead, there's a good chance you can take this game off of some of the hubris that Fear have shown in the past.
That's right, Fear. They've never seen a fight they don't like, and it's gotten them out of some crazy scenarios, like their series against AoE. They were down in both those games by a considerable margin. Some good team fighting from Cincinnati. Fear brought it back. But, you know, it also hurts, for better or worse. That is the team we see Fear to be. So when they get ahead, it does look fantastic. And what I'm setting my sights on in these next couple of minutes, Eric, is at Rift Herald. We talked about it. It's very important for Maryville to secure that one. Nobody really cares about Dragon number 1. Especially because, like, Fear, you scale well. Maryville, you want to snowball with the Herald. So focusing on that top side is what's going to be important. I'm expecting Zyko to make the move in about a minute's time after what he's looking for here in mid to help set that one up. And the question is, are Fear going to fight it?
You should expect Zyko over on that edge of the map. He's very, very aggressive with some of these roams if he could link up with Odd Orange. And back to mid lane we go. Bulls just take down Shochi. Over in the top side, Niles kind of brutalizing Philip while the wave shoves in. Been a good timer for Maryville University. Continue to hover on that bottom side of the map, knowing they got pressure in pretty much every single lane.
That's right. Nothing really happened since that first blood coming through. Niles using that priority he's got topside to be a little annoying. Say, Perry, I knew you want the scuttle crab. It is quite the illegal maneuver. He's still posturing, though, because the bot lane has roamed up from the side of Cincinnati Fear. Just looking to see, respond to a potential play mid lane because they had the information Niles was looking down. And now everyone's just going to go back to where they were. That was a really dangerous window, though, Manui. That pathing was risky, but nothing gets punished.
I mean, to be fair, Zyko and Scary Cherry were wandering the river at the same time, so Minui It was dangerous, but just got there in the nick of time. Now here comes Shochi. Buster Shot comes out. Trying to get out of range. Over to the wall. Odd Orange flashes and takes him down. Now Perry might meet his mid laner on the respawn. One more auto. A double kill for Odd Orange.
Oh man, the level 6 for Get Back. You cannot buffer the rocket jump anymore since they changed the NACL ultimate. So that interaction punishes Shochi and Perry so heavily, giving 2 more kills over to Maryville University. A great start for what is a do or die series for this collegiate squad.
Yeah, so many losses back to back to back. Now looking for that redemption to get into playoffs, to get into that top 8. And how important is it for Maryville University? A reminder, this is our first collegiate squad, but they are fighting like they want to stay in this league, and it's moments like this that show it.
Right, and Shochi's taking advantage of the fact that Get Back wasn't expecting this. But the problem ends up being Shochi wasn't expecting that he could not buffer the jump through the Pop Blossom. So Perry, even though he ticks over to level 6, he ends up jumping into his demise. And Odd Orange, he's 3-0 on this Nocturne. He is super accelerated, so he's going to be the one driving Maryville's early game and hopefully driving them to a win.
Taking a look at the state of the map right now, Maryville University, they're using that priority they have established over in the top side. Niles gets free out of the lane. This should be first Rift Herald. Not going to be much of a contention. Instead, Cincinnati Fear will set their sights on Dragon.
I like that one a lot. I mean, you're going to trade because this fight is just not yours. The Nocturne is super fed. You are falling behind in other lanes. So I like the call to go for Drake and pressure bot lane because look at Manui's guns. He had the Chakrams last time I saw, so he was able to quickly get the wave in, get a plate, and then he's going to go ahead and reset and get a pretty solid buy coming through here. So that's something Fear get for what they've lost, but it's small compared to what Maryville have gotten for themselves. So now it's what they're going to be able to do with the Rift Herald they just earned.
And it's still going to be a little bit before Minui's impactful. It's not going to be that long for Scary Jerry to be a big impact on this map. So trying to free out this bottom lane and making sure that Maryville continue this early momentum, that is the way to stifle the Cephalios from ever scaling up and giving Scary Jerry a good look.
Yeah, and I will say, even though Maryville University, things are going well for them so far, the big things to keep an eye on, they need to increase this gold lead further, continuously push the pace of the game, because we've seen time and time again how small leads like this, whether it's for Maryville or for another team in this league, end up not mattering too much because double marksman comps reach those 2 item spikes and get that insane shift in power that they end up turning into something like a Baron. So Maryville, they need to be very careful as they continue to try and push the game.
That's the struggle right there for Philip. He keeps getting bullied all the way back to his tower. Niles unleashing those autos. Yeah, he's Scion, but he's not the Scion yet. He still needs a little more time before those autos become paper. As they are right now, they do add up, especially how many Niles, what boomerangs per second is what we're throwing out now.
Yeah, I mean, to Philip's credit, he's keeping up, you know, about as much as you would expect in a matchup like this, even though he's trading his health. I mean, if my Scion was down 11 CS to a Gnar, I wouldn't personally be that upset about it. I'd be like, okay, you know, that happens. Range into melee.
And of course, Scion Ultimate, you can use it to get back into lane. So if you get pushed out, you still have, you don't have to wait that long to get back into the lane. The thing I'm going to be watching right now is going to be Odd Orange's pathing. He is going for an invade onto the blue side of Cincinnati Fear. Seems like Philip doesn't want to stay there anymore. Actually did cancel the recall. This might be an angle for Odd Orange.
Yeah, really interesting that he is still staying. He has the teleport, like it's about to tick back, but he wants to clear out this next wave. Maybe even,
Oh, yep, there it is. Paranoia comes out and Philip gets decked. Another kill for Maryville.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision there for Philip. He didn't have anyone moving up to his side. He could have just backed and teleported, but either way, it's not going to cost too much. The only downside is that Niles gets a kill, gets this plate, and Philip at least still has the teleport to come back. But I actually retract my earlier statement. There's a lot of gold.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold swinging to Maryville's way. 11 minutes in, they're almost at a 3K lead. And this is looking like a very calculated and dominant early game coming out from them. I mean, we wanted them to accelerate this pace. Odd Orange went exactly where he needed to get that done.
Right, and now you see it. He's built the Stride Breaker. First mythic on the entire board. We're seeing some legendaries come through for Shochi, Manui, and things like that. But the Stride Breaker is so big because it's going to make it easier for Nocturne to stay on top of someone. That slow means they're going to get the fear tether off unless you blow things like the Flash. And you're seeing the gold difference here. Of course, it's going to be this top side of the map for Maryville. All the action has been there, and it's been all Maryville so far.
And it's going to get a little bit more difficult as this goes on. Scary Jerry did complete that static shiv, so that will get him some pretty strong push over in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
At the same time, they have Minui and JJ who are going to be looking to roam out soon. Minute 15 before that dragon timer comes up, we are getting some resets for it.
All right, now Maryville have that option to go for the contest. Remember, Philip burned the TP after that top gank to make it back and continue farming. Niles can show up. He's finished the Trinity Force, which is another big spike coming through from Maryville's side, and he can teleport to this dragon fight. This is actually something very dangerous for Fear to contest unless we see Philip start walking right now. And luckily for them, he's doing exactly that. He can join from a distance with the ult.
Here we go, Shochi over the wall with the rocket jump, tries to find Psycho. Teleport coming through, Paranoia, collapses right onto Parry. He will go down, jumping back in is JJ, able to get the headbutt pulverized, but here's Minui, wants to scrap it out with Scary Jerry. The flash forward finds the stun for Minui to bring the chakrams and rain him down. So close he is, but so far he finds himself. Killer Instinct comes through and Odd Orange clutches. Here comes Shochi once again, looking for Odd Orange. Will get the reset onto the rocket jump, switches his attention to Scary Jerry and gets one back for Cincinnati Fear, but it cost them 3. They only picked up 2.
Man, and the timing there is just off. You know Philip is walking. You should know Niles has teleport and can join immediately. Fear hoping they can blow up a target, but it costs them dearly. This is what we talk about with this team and how they struggle at times with taking fights that they shouldn't and how it puts them in the hole.
Now, let's put the situation in the big picture right now. For Cincinnati Fear, this is really bad the way a lot of these fights are going, but one of the silver linings is Odd Orange, who has all the income, who's gotten all the kills thus far. Focus him down, make him not a presence, and that's a lot of the damage for Maryville's mid-game taken out of this. But if they allow this to keep snowballing and Odd Orange to keep popping off, he will eventually get the rest of the team up to a good spot.
We're going to see this one again. You see him on the pink ward, you think, okay, we can kill Zyko very, very quickly. But as soon as Zyko goes out and then back in, it's the perfect setup to isolate Parry. You see Manui has to leave, realizing, okay, I'm going to get TP'd on, I'm going to die instantly. And he's just focused on getting as much DPS as he can. But you can see Maryville. This is what we praise them for. The way they fight together, when they're ahead, it looks really good. And wow. Is that a replay? Because it's the same spot where Parry...
Right out of the replay, yeah. Parry's going down. Parry's not having a good game this time. Has been caught out of position multiple times. Here comes Niles.
Wow.
Wall up right into the wall. And Minui doesn't even have flash. That's a kill dead to rights. Here comes Zyko pulling the cow back in. The stun is available, and Niles doesn't want to get caught under that tower.
I mean, the damage is done. You picked up 2 kills instantly there as we popped out of the replay. And Maryville up 4,000 gold as a result. The only thing Fear have to show for the replay that we saw was that they got the second Drake. So Dragon Soul is something that they can hope they can play for. But Maryville are so strong now, and they're probably going to get stronger with this second Rift Herald depending on where they drop it. It's going to be easy pickings to get Dragon number 3 and deny Fear their only real shot in this game.
Do you have to just ban out everything with like a semi-global ultimate at this point? Because you take away the Pantheon, now Odd Orange is on the Nocturne. Same thing with Scary Jerry, Killer Instinct. It means that Maryville can get to these fights faster than Cincinnati Fear can, and it ends up thwarting a lot of these game plans that Fear want to execute on.
Absolutely, and
here we go, get back in the bad place to be. Philip decimating smash lands onto nothing, flash burnt.
Okay, he's fine.
He's chilling.
Yeah, right? Okay, they keep walking, so you know I'm... oh, no, yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. Odd Orange is going
fine.
on a tear right now, man.
7-0 on the Nocturne, and no response for Fear in sight. Sure, they can auto down this turret, but the wave is being cleared out by Scary Jerry, and of course the Rift Herald has been dropped bot side, so that's more gold onto Niles. This top jungle for Maryville University are extremely accelerated, and you highlighted it, Eric. You get Odd Orange, you get Niles out of a fight, you blow him up, make him a non-factor, you can mitigate some of this gold lead, but we've been seeing over and over again this game how hard that actually is for Fear to do. The wallet diff is going crazy at the moment.
Right now, this early game coming out from Maryville University, not allowing 5v5 situations. They're just brute forcing a lot of these dives, and it's working so well. Odd Orange, 8.5k in the lead. A very experienced player in that regard. My first LAN actually had Odd Orange in it. He was back on Polar Ace back in the day. It was 2019.
Throwback, Jesus.
Yeah, I've seen this guy through so many squads, both Supernova. When I started casting Academy, he was on Team Liquid Academy. Saw him back then. Now in the position he's in, he's been very vocal about it, that he doesn't have the big pro aspirations, but he wants to bring up the rest of his squad that do want to get there. Both Niles and Odd Orange trying to be the gym bros, and how about the rest of them get buffed up and ready for whatever competitive scene awaits them.
I'll tell you what, this game, Maryville, they're pretty pumped up right now, Eric. 5k up like we highlighted before. You can see that Fear are in dire straits. The dragon that we highlighted, that soul, which is their real only win con at the moment, the soul point is coming up in a minute's time. And that is, you can tell how important they view this dragon, because look at what Manui's purchased. A stopwatch, 17 minutes in the game is when he had it. It is very early. This next fight is so important for them, and he recognizes that one. And that tells me Fear might look to make a stand to get themselves the third Drake.
Oh, it's going to have to be a well-calculated stand for them to actually come out ahead into this. I mean, you have the Static Shiv completed on the side of Shochi, but it's already 2 items for Scary Jerry. Working on the second currently for Get Back. The bigger concern, of course, being on this top side with Niles and Odd Orange. It's no longer Odd Orange who's getting all that income. It's now Niles who's kind of just decimating these towers into the side lanes.
And it just earns him more and more gold. You can see he's building up to what's either a Sterix. He could be going for the... Oh, hold on a second. We might actually see a fight coming through here. Niles is TPing in. Second item, whatever it is, it's going to give him a lot of stats. Fear have the move, but remember, they are outgunned right now. And this fight is so important for them, it could decide their whole game 1.
And be very careful around Niles. Once he gets that Mega Gnar, it's already available. He's able to transform, but Scary Jerry's picked off one. The tree falls into the back line. We go. Maryville University trying to tear them apart. A flash comes out of Scary Jerry, gets away from Shochi. Another one falling. Minui. More damage lost by Cincinnati Fear. Philip gonna hold the line for the rest of Fear to find a retreat. Maryville University take a team fight win. Cost them absolutely nothing.
And they're popping off in the must-need win game for them here. We talked about it. They're tied with Supernova. They're in a dangerous position after the last couple weeks of play, but they're turning it up on day 2 of week 6. They are taking it to Cincinnati Fear, one of our teams who are already playoff locked. Oh my!
Oh, Shochi, no, he gets feared up. Shochi gives off another kill, goes for the greedy play, wanted the reset. Maryville deny it.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. But we're gonna take a look at the replay here and keep an eye on the team here for Fear. They try to all-in Niles before he goes Mega. I mean, he was never gonna die in this situation. Of course, Odd Orange is strong enough that he is able to just jump in, use the stopwatch, and pressure Manui. Even though the ult from Get Back doesn't get anyone, look at Niles. Perfectly timed ultimate there from the Gnar to help get Manui out of this picture. That's a one-time purchase stopwatch, and Manui couldn't make it work.
Oh no. Harry might go down again, forced to burn his flash. This is bad omens when your tank is running away from these fights. But Perry can't do much because Cincinnati Fear have conceded the world over to Maryville University. Currently a 7.6k gold lead, 21 minutes into this. Maryville, our first collegiate squad in NACL, looking to fight for their place to stay in the league.
That's right. As a reminder, you don't make top 8. You automatically go to the the promotion tournament and have to fight for your chance to play in the league next spring. Maryville doing their best to avoid it. A win here would tie them, or rather would keep them ahead of Supernova and require Supernova to get a 2-0 against AoE if they want to end the day ahead and in 8th place.
If Maryville University could actually get a 2-0 onto this series right here,
wow, yeah.
it would be so tremendous for their trajectory. It would pretty much deny Supernova and Team Fish Taco a real chance to outplace them, and it's something that's desperately needed for this squad at the moment if they want security, if they want to spend the 4 weeks after playoffs when the promotion tournament does come no longer in dread.
Now Maryville taking what is theirs by birthright. The Barrett Nasher at 22 minutes, but they're looking to turn and fight.
Yeah, Maryville will turn on a dime. Shochi's got to be careful. Paranoia is still available. Headbutt pulverize lands. Running through is going to be Perry. Doesn't find too much, though. Instead, he finds an ass whoop and gets kicked right out. Get back will take him down. And Maryville University, ooh, they're still getting attacked by the Baron. Got to be careful for Odd Orange. But Cincinnati Fear, they're not pulling back just yet.
Yeah, they don't want to take any chances. They want to force them away, but it's looking like they won't actually go for the fight. And they were really cautious of Manui. Both him and Shochi, they've reached the 2 items. Even with this gold deficit, they do a lot of damage at this point. So it's wise for Maryville to go ahead and back off. And they can just do this again, Eric. They can start the Baron. After they've spent their gold, get themselves back on the map. You can see in their inventories the item advantages that each laner on Maryville have versus their opponent. Niles, in particular, getting very tanky, looking to build the Randuin's Omen, which is going to make it easier for him to stay on top of people, and he's just going to be so hard for Shochi and Manui to kill. We need to start seeing things like Lord Doms come through before they can put a dent in this Gnar.
As it is right now, Maryville University, they can just itemize any bit of armor, and it does a lot to stop Cincinnati Fear from being that effective on the map. Because what, you got magic.
Get back! Watch
Harry,
Get Back!
Here comes Get Back. He's going over the wall, wants to find Shochi. Gets the root onto Shochi. Shochi's gone, man! Zyko's still there. Perry's able to return 1. Niles getting hit by the Baron. Will throw a rock right over to Cincinnati Fear, and they will stop the chase 1-for-1 mid lane for support.
Wow, that's better than Fear could have ever hoped for. Too many people all inning Shochi on the Tristana gave the opening for that 1-for-1 to come through. And even though Fear aren't going to start the Baron for themselves, they prevent it from going down a second time in a row. You could see them clawing to this game with a vice grip to make sure Maryville can't accelerate any further. But now we have another Drake coming up in 40 seconds. If they manage to secure that, get themselves one step closer to the Dragon Soul, maybe that is something to play for.
And what a tough game for Cincinnati Fear. You have to think about what it means being in this position at this current time. Because if Maryville University are still the ones dictating plays, they usually dictate it with the Paranoia. If you're Cincinnati Fear, you got 2 teleports, you can't really utilize them when the Paranoia is up.
Yeah.
That's really tough right there. It makes the comeback potential for Cincinnati Fear that much more harder.
Right, and here we go. We may have our 3rd Baron dance on our hands here, and Fear, of course, are not going to let this one go. Everyone has everything back up. Maryville are the ones with the gold lead.
Round 2, Shochi is following. Zyko will go on the attack. Backs off because of the Paranoia. Doesn't want to get pounced on by Odd Orange. Good move. And now that's going to be down. JJ tries to find the re-engage. Running through is going to be Zyko. Doesn't get too much.
That's one kill.
Harry. It's 1 kill going through. Shochi's able to grab it. Get back. Tries to hop forward, but can't grab Shochi.
This is winning. This is winning.
It's time for the resets for Shochi. Get back critically low. Gets dropped in the process. Shochi, another reset onto Niles. Niles will hop away. More autos go through. Scary Jerry falls through with the killer instinct and puts Shochi down. A back and forth slugfest. It goes even.
But that's the thing. Fear, despite being down 7,000 gold, they keep going even, Eric. This is what we're talking about. Even though they love to scrap it out for better or worse, Cincinnati Fear are so confident and comfortable in the 5v5. This squad with 2 new players showing us glimpses of what they did in spring that earned them top 4. But now they're going to have to do it another time. Shochi is up in 15 seconds and has the teleport, but I don't think they can wait that long.
Oh, unless Maryville University just peel off. They're going right after Philip, though, the tankiest member.
5v4.
He's there.
Stall.
Teleport comes through. Get Back wants to hop in. Get back, doesn't have Pop Blossom though. Here comes the Paranoia. It's going on to Minui. Minui's caught out. The Fear Tethers go through. A flash comes up for
still
Minui.
alive.
He gets away from Odd Orange and puts down Psycho. More autos over the wall. Philip
They want to
not
turn.
get dropped in now.
Look who's
Here
here.
it comes. Shoji has arrived, showing up with that protagonist power. Will put them down into the dirt with a double kill. Wants to find the triple. Will have to just walk away and give it over. Gifted to Minui. Cincinnati Fear. Their backs are against the wall, beat down, and they're still taking team fights.
They break the goddamn wall down, Eric. Fear somehow make it happen. Not only do they pick up all the shutdowns, not only do they almost ace Maryville, but now they are going to get the Baron for themselves. They're going to get all the gold it comes with and all the power to catch up back in this game.
Cincinnati Fear, man. You put them in a corner and it's fight or flight. They pick fight every single time, bro. And it results in them getting the Turo Baron buff and cutting down this lead to just 3K, what was once around 7, 8K. And it was all off of this performance right here, B.
Yeah, and you'll see it. Maryville, they feel the pressure. Scary Jerry is low, has low mana. They know they need to turn and fight while Shoji is still on the gray screen. But JJ and Philip, the new members of the squad, do such a good job wasting time, running interference, and enough time for Minui to keep himself alive, to get a kill, and there's the teleport.
John Cena music.
That's right, Shoji is coming to party, and he is here, gold spent, ready to start resetting and rocket jumping Fear to the Turo Baron buff.
If anyone wants to help me out, please do that entire play. Put on some wrestling theme the moment Shoji comes in. That's how big he was. That's the type of impact he had on that teleport. He was making a lot of ballsy plays like this throughout the game. Most of them not working out, but Shoji, he doesn't give up on them and comes at the most pivotal time to clutch it out for Fear. Now Fear just racking in gold. There was a lot of standing gold on the map and they're claiming it.
It is unreal what Fear have done this game, JesterX. The fact is, they were down 7K gold. Maryville had everything they needed to close it out, but Fear stalled them on the Baron 3 times and finally got the perfect look that they were hoping for. And that's it. 1,200 gold leads? I don't care anymore. Fear are the ones in the driver's seat in this game, and that propensity to fight, where they never choose flight, is only going to serve them now.
But now we gotta dance again around this side of the map. Dragon's not even up, but we're still throwing hands. Niles, Meganar ultimate, trying to slam it onto the backline. Shoji is there. Paranoia goes off, and here comes Odd Orange, but Minui's already picked up one. Shoji grabs another. Odd Orange Guardian Angel popped, and so is Scary Jerry. Shoji knocks him away with the buster shot. A rocket jump to get away from the Fear. That is the Nocturne. Scary Jerry will still find him nonetheless, but it's an ace for Cincinnati Fear.
And a lead for the first time this game for Fear, and that's it. They can just pull the trigger whenever they want. You see the Lord Dominics come through for Shoji and Minui. The damage they do in these team fights is astronomical. And Maryville, they don't have a leg to stand on anymore, Desirx. This one might be done and dusted, but if you asked me 15 minutes ago, I would have never guessed it would be for Fear.
No, not at all. I don't even know why this fight's going on right here. Kind of surprised they found in this quadrant. You just tunnel in. Odd Orange waiting for the perfect opportunity, but it doesn't present itself to take out this backline of Fear.
Right, he's been looking for Minui, fight after fight after fight, and not only does the exhaust come through, but Minui, he's been playing spoiler really well these last couple of team fights, using the Gale Force Flash, dodging out, outputting all the DPS his team needs, and it gives the space for Fear to get to where they are right now. 400 gold up.
I'll be honest, that last little death was definitely a Shochi moment.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
He can get a bit greedy sometimes. We've seen it a few times now. For Maryville University, you got to remember when they were winning, it was when they can decide the plays, when they didn't have to deal with some of the 5v5 scenarios that Fear posed. This is what they're looking for right now as they go for a collapse onto Parry. They'll pick it out before Fear can regroup, and now they have Minui out of position. They have JJ out of position, but look at Minui's damage. Guardian Angel going to get popped away. Shochi's over the wall.
Here.
Will hop right there, going after Psycho. Buster shot away, doesn't even allow him to get the crowd control through. Takes out the clone in the process, and Psycho will fall. Shochi looking for the the reset, but Cincinnati Fear, they weather the storm and they take one right back from Maryville.
I'll tell you what, that's the first time I've ever seen Guardian Angel look good on an 80 carry. Manui buys all the time he needs while respawning for the rest of the team to show up. Play the wrestling music, because Fear are here to smack down.
And let's go, Cincinnati Fear. What a comeback from the early game that got 7.5K in the favor of Maryville University. But guess what, Beat? That is the Cincinnati Fear comfort zone. When you are most comfortable taking on this squad, they are most comfortable taking you on too.
And these plays, they just reek of desperation. You need to get picked. You need to get a numbers advantage before a major objective comes out and pick up some gold. The problem is, they weren't able to get enough for it here. Philip cancels the teleport. Niles could have made a phenomenal difference in this team fight. He had the Meganar, but the fact that he was denied made the play all that easier.
And Maryville University, they were trying to go for the plays that got them the lead in the early game. Paranoia starts up the fight. No teleports can really match. They don't know where the fight's going on unless they get the communication going through. But this time, after they grab Perry, they were already too deep. They go after Minui. They're not able to grab him. Guardian Angel, so clutch, as you had mentioned.
Yep.
And it makes it a situation where Fear are able to buy enough time repeatedly to take down some of these disadvantages, and they're looking for the 5v5 once again.
Wow,
Maryville University
damage.
lose Zyko in the blink of an eye. Rocket jump out, get back lands the Pop Blossom onto absolutely nothing, and the Boogeyman gets slain by Perry. Get back drops. One more left outside of Scary Jerry, still throwing those missiles. Niles over the wall. They won't continue the chase. I thought they wanted the fight. Nah, they just want the end.
They did this twice against AoE Gold yesterday, Eric. They made a huge comeback after a big deficit. That confidence, that ability to team fight is what we loved about Cincinnati Fear in spring. And like I said, I'll say it again, they are a team to fear come playoffs.
Shochi having his hands on this Tristana should be a legal man, and Fear team fights should be as well. A comeback performance for Cincinnati Fear.
And I gotta say, there are a few things more tilting than that. So you gotta feel bad for Maryville. They were up 7,000 gold, and to just watch it all collapse surrounding you. And you can see it down at the end. Look at these damage numbers. Like, this is so depressing. Yeah. Scary Jerry was doing so much, but the way Fear turned it up at the end made it didn't matter. Look at the gold graph.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that was struggle from their early gold not being allocated towards their carries. It was on Niles, it was on Odd Orange, so it meant that Get Back and Scary Jerry really couldn't do as much as they were on the map. I mean, to be fair, Scary Jerry did get a lot of damage in, but that was damage dedicated to a lot of the kills that were coming in for Maryville's early game. After that, diving into the backline, that wasn't working out.
No, it really wasn't. And at the end of the day, props to Fear for being able to make a comeback like that. This is something that has made this team so exciting to watch this entire year. And even with two new players that have been adjusting really well to the change in setup, it's still fun to watch this team play, man.
You know, it wouldn't be an anime unless it had its conflict arc, and of course, Shochi gonna make it right through that one. We're gonna take a moment to take a break. When we return, we'll have Mad Magical on the other side for our Rally Cry halftime show.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.